What's up? You're watching Poot's Garage. This week we got a whole bunch more stuff going on. We're whittling through the list of items that we need to fix. This poor truck took a little bit of a beating on its first time out, so we're going through all the items here. So we got a bunch to get through today, so let's get to it.
So tell me why is this truck so expensive? Tell me why. Every time I try and save money, Chevy says no way.
Now that the drive shaft is in limbo while we wait, I need to figure out something else. That decision revolves around spending more money or trying to modify what we got, which I don't know if I want to. Let me show you. So if you look right there, we have a spot of orange paint. That would be from, I believe that's our drag link hitting, I think. And then the other spot is on the back here we touched there, which is the tie rod. So this factory engine cross member is obviously not working out so fresh for us. Oh hey, there's my axle vent. I need to hook that up or extend it. The reason I came under here is I wanted to see how this factory cross member is attached. So it's pretty much bolted in up here, 2 spots. It's riveted here and here. And then I don't feel anything on the back side. So if that's all it is, then that's easy, semi-easy. The reason I'm looking at that is, now I can come through and I can cut this whole back section off, but then it's like, how do I weld it and make it strong again? Because you're losing your height and you're just making it a flat sheet, which is gonna make it even more dangly. So, Off-Road Designs offers a whole replacement one, and what it does is it actually moves it directly underneath the motor mounts. And doing that also ties in the bottom of the frame to the motor mount bracket. Has 2 big nice tubes going underneath and going to the other side. It's supposed to actually significantly strengthen up the entire frame up here. Almost kind of ties the top and lower sections of the frame together and really boxes it in versus just having the lower section just riveted on in a couple spots. So, after looking at this, I don't want to spend more money, but I think we're going to spend more money because that cross member is pretty cool. Oh, look at all my oil leaks. How's my clutch looking there? I've never actually inspected a clutch. I don't even know what I'm really looking for in there. Looks like there's something going on. That's good. So yeah, I think unfortunately we're gonna probably buy that cross member. While we're at it, this is actually gonna be a great time to replace these motor mounts because I have a new set that just need to go in, and these are in really bad shape, so it's actually a real good time to do that. So I was just looking under the hood here at the battery tray situation I got going on. I kind of put my rubber strap back on just for the time being. It is so crap. I thought it broke. It must have just fallen off. But anyways, looking at the battery tray, I just need a new one. I think I'm gonna try and find a new one. Hopefully there's a replacement on LMC or something. And then the little electrical distribution block that I had here got completely ripped off. The firewall plastic brackets ripped off. Realizing that it's all bare exposed positive electricity, so I don't want that thing flopping around. Kind of surprised it didn't arc out and cause a bigger issue, to be honest. But yeah, I ended up having to take that right back off, so that was short-lived since we just put that in with the lights a few weeks back. So I'm gonna have to try and actually source a little nicer one, maybe. I don't know, something better, something different. We'll get that all hooked up again. So I guess for now I got no lights. And looking at my list here, those were the 3 main things: battery hold down, engine cross member, and measure the front drive shaft to get that figured out. I did write down a bunch of other issues just from this last trip: trimming fenders, exhaust, fixing the tailgate, rear shock mounts. Not critical yet, but that is gonna be a thing. But all these other little items, not super critical, just things that I do need to take care of. But for now, these were the 3 big ones and probably the expensive ones. So we're gonna get those taken care of first, and then yeah, then we'll be moving on. Let's switch it up for just a second. I am really excited. I just ordered 2 things to really help this YouTube channel out. So the first thing I did is I actually subscribed to a music service. I think it's called Epidemic Sound. So we are subscribed to them, so we have access to a ton of really good high quality music. So I'm really excited about that because I'm getting kind of tired of my music selection through straight YouTube that I've been using. You know, it has my certain feel and vibe to the channel, but hopefully we can improve on that just a little bit more. And then the other thing that I'm really excited about, and I better be because it was kind of expensive, is we ordered a new camera. I'm really excited about that. I've been wanting a new camera for a while, something a little bit different than what we're currently using, so I'm super excited. And I don't know, I'll just tell you about that when it shows up, probably later this month or something. But I think it's gonna improve our quality of video, not only in like I can start doing 4K video. This camera's not 4K, but I can start doing 4K, and the stabilization of it is gonna be super crazy. So I'm really excited about that. So hopefully you guys are too. And the reason that we're able to even do this right now is because of you guys. So I was able to buy these because of the YouTube earnings, and I don't make a whole lot of money off this. It's not much at all, really. It's not paying any bills. But I've been throwing it to a separate account since I've gotten monetized again within the last, what was that, year and a half ago or so. So we finally got enough that we can kind of play a little bit and use that to actually upgrade the channel itself. So it's like reinvesting. Thank you guys, and please like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching this so we can continue to grow. All right, let's get back to what we're working on. All right, first parts are starting to show up, so let me show you what we got. We got a little box. In this little box is the replacement for our little electrical distribution block that came apart on us. It's kind of a cheap little unit, but it can't be any worse than what was in there. So this is it. It's actually not horrible. Let me see if I can remember how to get it apart. There we go. I've already played with it once before. So that's it. It's just a little tiny distribution block. We'll have, I believe, power on one side, and then we just go out to the fuses, whatever we need to tie in. And this also includes a ground section also. I don't really necessarily need this. You don't have to hook the side up at all, I don't believe, but we probably will. We'll hook it up just so we have some good clean ground spots. I'll put a big ground from there to, I don't know, something important. The little kit comes with actual labels for your fuses, mounting screws, a little pack of fuses. So it's kind of cool. It's not bad. It is a Chinese, it's an Amazon unit. I was trying to buy something off Summit, try to find something a little more professional and nice, but couldn't find nothing. I just couldn't find what I needed. So that's what we got. And that's gonna be replacing this guy here. This is still kind of usable, except the mounting tabs broke off. Plus I realized I have this giant exposed positive section here, which I probably should have at least taped that up before, but I didn't. But anyways, I got no way to mount it down without it, I don't know, arcing out on stuff and being dangerous, so we just replaced it. Next is what we got in the box. Obviously this came from LMC, so this should be our battery tray, and I think I had a little hold down. I don't remember if I ordered anything else from them, but I don't remember, so let's find out. Yep, that's it. We got a new battery tray. Hopefully this is the correct one for my truck. There's two styles. Pretty sure this is right. I don't know if this truck's ever gotten anything new from LMC. It's not bad. It's actually a lot heavier duty than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it'd be like real thin sheet metal, but this is actually pretty solid. All right. We also ordered the little base style hold down. Hopefully that's all correct and ready to go. Oh, yeah, that's right. I did order a bunch of extra mounting screws. So these kind of like nice factory style, I don't know, metal type mounting bolts with the point to them. It's pretty nice. That should be an easy install. So I have no idea where we're at in the timeline of things here. We need to start trimming up these fenders. I gotta figure out what we want to do. I'm gonna start in the rear, but obviously the front was the major issue. You can see where it grabbed it. We're gonna go to the rear here, and I kinda have some issues like trying to figure out where I wanna trim. So I kinda put a piece of tape on there. I don't wanna trim that much, but I kinda have to do some other issues that we're having. This side's not that big of an issue. We do have a little bit of rust coming through, especially, it's not really on the back side. It's like right where two panels join, right along there. So I kind of threw some tape on there just to kind of see. I'm gonna measure a little bit better and kind of play with it a little bit here in a little while. But yeah, I think I really just want to barely trim the corner off, but that's kind of what we're looking at. And then the front of the fender, I can't go a whole lot, but we don't need a whole lot, I hope. So we'll have to look at that here in a little bit also. But the driver's side is the reason I'm having problems. You can see all that rust in there. That's not good. So that really makes it hard for me to trim. You know, this whole bottom section is basically gonna come off regardless of what I do. I mean, I don't want to just trim a little bit off and have these flappy deals. So I kind of just want to cut all that rust off. So that's kind of why I'm thinking of going that far. As long as the profile, I feel like, matches the tire, it kind of looks like it's supposed to be like that. So I think we're doing okay. I think it'll be all right to do it like that, but then I have to do the other side to match, obviously, which is why I had the tape over there also. You can see there's a lot going on there. That whole corner is just gone, and I'm gonna have to do something about this trim piece and whatnot. You can see the back side of the fender. It's all just Swiss cheese back there. So yeah, we're gonna see about cutting off as much of that as possible. And then for the front end of the fender, you can see, I mean, even this side, I think I can tell, once it zooms in, even this one here, you can tell I was just barely touching here. And I don't think it was even touching on the back end here. So it's literally just like on the outside edge here where it just barely comes out. And so I don't want to lose this bracket here. I might try and relocate it in a little, but I might just go right up to the edge of the bracket and then come up, which is gonna give me, I don't know, something like this. And I can kind of cut off a little bit of this flare piece. Problem is I don't want to end up with a sharp piece of metal that's gonna cut tires, you know? But this axle swings backwards, so it's just barely touching here. So I think no matter what we do, we should be okay. And this is what we're coming up with. So I think I'm actually gonna do a notch and then down. That way we're gonna go right across the body line paint there. The reason I'm doing that is because to be able to cut all this rust out, I would have such a far sweeping cut that I don't think it would look good. So if I notch it out, then I can have a little bit sharper. That actually matches basically the radius of the tire. So it should look symmetrical. And also cutting out so much on the back shouldn't matter as much because I've already cut the bottom off anyways. So it's not as noticeable if you got some weird stuff going on like right there versus this up here, which I gotta figure out still. But for now, we're gonna cut these off just like that. And there's the first cut. We did it. It's got way more than enough clearance than what we need. That shackle's hanging out a little more now. I don't know, looks good. I think it looks decent. We still have our factory trim piece back there hanging on for dear life, but we definitely cut some rust out. Now we just gotta kinda take a little bit off the front here. Hopefully it'll kinda match things up and it'll look pretty good. And then we get to move to the front and cut a little bit more off of that. And there's the first cut on the front of the rear fender. I don't think it's too bad. It keeps its line pretty well. I'm gonna have to kind of straighten it out a little bit there with some files or grinders or something, but yeah, that really opens it up. Yeah, I keep running into something. This truck has a ton of Bondo on it. I don't know if you can see that, but look at that. That's good, what, 3/16 of an inch of Bondo on there. That is thick. That's not good. Now onto the front. We got the rear all done. All we're doing is we're extending our cut up to that paint line, and then we're kind of going straight down, back just a little bit further. It's gonna cut off a little bit more of that little natural flare there in the body. Shouldn't be too big a deal until we gotta get up in here, and we're gonna try and cut this out more so we can avoid that tire rubbage there that tore my tire up. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting. are done cutting again. So the front is all hacked up. It's hard to tell because of the bright lights. There you go. So we hacked out about 2 inches off the bottom up to towards an inch in the middle here. We cut out all that fender that was rubbing, and then I know it's really hard to tell. There we go. I made a couple slits, and then I beat that sheet metal in to give it a little bit more of a smooth landing pad if the tires do want to come up that high. And then we went and we kind of beat all these edges back. It's hard to tell in the video, but these corners are curled over. So hopefully nothing snags a tire ever again, but hey, you never know. Might end up putting 43s on this thing. We did end up trimming the front, even though we didn't really have any problems here. We did just kind of bring it out just a little bit more. I know it looks kind of crooked on video, but it's because there's a contour here on the body. So just in general, just trying to clean things up and kind of just giving lots of extra room. Then on the driver's side, kind of just the same thing. We trimmed up the front a little bit, which had a little bit more sheet metal. This stuff on the inner here is not as rusty, even though I did curl this edge over. It's so rusty, I just beat it in with a hammer. And then this side, we did our cutout up here. We cut it out. We beat all the edges in. All the corners are curled over, so hopefully there's no sharp edges. And then this side here, I couldn't quite go as far in, which I shouldn't have to worry about that inner corner, but you can see the parking brake cable kind of cuts across here. So I kind of pushed the cable over, and I actually bent the sheet metal over, and it's kind of like holding the parking brake cable now over, so kind of keeps it up out of the way a little bit better. So that's kind of cool. You see we got all sorts of cut fresh edges on here. I was just cutting all this kind of stuff back further, but all in all, I'm pretty happy with it. It doesn't look too haggard yet. It's getting a little bit more open, but it's just what you got to deal with when you got these kind of weird shaped square fenders and you're trying to open it up. And I'm not trying to go way up over the top yet, so I mean, if I needed more clearance after this, pretty much next is to start going up and over to try and keep some sort of a nice transition. But this is where we're at. I think we'll be good after this one. This one's for the haters. Here's all the metal that we cut off of this thing. As you can see, we cut off no good sheet metal. This stuff is all rotten and just nasty, nasty sheet metal. So I know people gave me crap for cutting up a good truck and beating on this thing, but this truck is in horrible shape. That's all the rust that fell off of it as I was cutting. So yeah, I did nothing but cut rust off of it this time. Decent looking video. Horrible looking video. What the hell happened to my camera? White balance is shot. This camera might be done. I don't know about this. All right, I think we're back. We had a weird setting on there. Fender trimming is done. Next, I want to get this new battery tray in. This thing is beautiful. So I got this from LMC. This is decent looking product. I haven't had much luck with LMC over the years. And me and my brother were doing his K5 Blazer. We ordered a ton of LMC products, and it seemed like 90% of them just were completely unusable. They fit so bad. So this one looks good. I can't imagine how this will not fit. I can drill some holes and bend it if I have to, but it looks really good, and it's super thick material. I'm kind of surprised how thick it is, and it's almost seems better than the original. Well, when you look at my original, it's kind of crappy. All right, had to reset all the settings on this camera. This camera is getting funky. Can't wait for the new camera to show up. So you can see our old battery tray is completely rotted out. I mean, there's not much left to it. Everything underneath the battery tray is rotted too. It's kind of hard to tell. The inner fender's rotted out. Everything's rotted out under it. So this tray should work for now. It'll get some fresh metal in there. Plus it gives us our hold down back. It's got the factory style here, which there might be some threads left in there. I might have been able to get away with just putting the block on there and calling it good and threading it out and hoping the threads are good, but we're not gonna risk that. This was the old one that fell off. Yeah, you can see I've just been using this old rubber strap that actually came with the truck, and I thought it broke, but it was holding together still. It just, the hooks popped off or something, so we could throw that in the trash now. one more down low for the coolant. Battery's dying. Nasty thing. Jeez. Oop, don't pull my rust out. A little comparison of the old one and the new one. The new one looks pretty good. That's a pretty good replacement there. One thing I don't have is, like, I don't know, this one has a screw hole going there. Is that one I used? I might need that. Doesn't have that one. This one has an attachment down here and here. This one only has here. Interesting. But it looks good. It's a pretty decent looking direct replacement. Let's see if it fits. Well, we almost got it. The battery hold down doesn't quite work. It doesn't sit flat in there, so I can fix that real quick. Let's do that. That fits. Clean it up a little bit. Make it look new again. Alright, didn't work that good, but yeah, it looks a little better. And then we stick her in. Like a glove. There. And now we have a fresh battery hold down, fresh battery tray. She looks factory, all original, clean looking, excellent, excellent. And the last thing before I head in tonight is I got my new little electrical distribution block in there. Got my two lights hooked up, everything's working again. This time I ran it off a little smaller wire, didn't need the big wire this time. We actually have an inline fuse going to the block, so we are all fused up.